Jam on toast!
Konnichiwa gozaimasu. Welcome to the Jam. Watashi no name wa Cameron desu. And today the toast is to High School of the Dead. Now this should have been for SourcefedNerd Anime Club, but Meg Turney, you missed the window. They finally took it off of Netflix instant streaming. So hopefully someone else has seen it and is willing to chime in. Backsorn. So the short sell on this one is that a group of Japanese high school kids get together during the zombie apocalypse, and here's what they do. My love it for this one has to be the scene where Kurosawa was kind of forced to fire a rifle that's attached to a girl's chest, and it's kind of funny, even though it's a horrible situation. And it drags out past the initial scene, which is just even more hilarious to me. My hate for this one, believe it or not, is the amount of fan service that's in this. Zombies and boobs, how can you go wrong? I'm not even referring to the scene where they're all like, oh, I'm so glad we didn't die, let's take a bath, and whatever, because Japanese kind of take baths like that, and that's fine, even though there's some extra stuff that happens. But panty shots for panty shots' sake, look, up there, that's Google, it's a thing. I don't need it all the time, though I like that they don't shy away from it when it would be appropriate, when they have a specific angle and they're driving or something, and whatever. More pointedly, my problem is that other people point it out and I have to go when I'm defending this. The MVP for this series is the little girl, and I'm not going to look up her name. I will never remember her name, and it's just how it is. She's just the little girl, and I want to remember how I remember her, because she's a representation of morality in a world where there is none left. There's no rules anymore. Everyone's fending for themselves, and the rule is survival. But these kids get it in their head, hey, we can't save everyone, obviously, but we can save her, and she's going to be a future of this world, and it needs to be the right thing to do. And so I really kind of warms my heart with that idea that she represents that sort of morality in this world. Let's go into the categories. Aesthetics. This is that modern style anime, and it's really well done. Of course, they put a bunch of sexy ladies in there, and I'm a big fan of that too, but more importantly, they made them distinctive, and they made them show themselves, even in how they walk around and talk, and their general look gave them independent character personalities, and I really appreciate putting that much detail into these characters, especially when you've gone out of your way to sexualize them, because let's face it, that's what they did. But the guys get the same kind of treatment too. You can tell when you're dealing with each one of them and you're looking at them, you're observing them, that's the kind of personality they have and whatnot. Kurosawa was kind of a shadow, but he gets to express himself through his actions more often than not. The zombies are all really well done, and I gotta say, they pay attention to when they need to drop their little anime quirks and whatnot. Aesthetics gets a 95. Compulsion. Character development. This is the other area where it gets slammed a lot, because people argue about fan service, and then they argue about these being stock characters. And I'm here to tell you straight up that they are stock characters. Kurosawa was kind of the hapless hero who just wants to get the girl and survive along with everyone else, obviously. They've got a big boot blonde ditz of a doctor that can't remember that she's not clothed, of all things. You've got the president of the Katana Club, or Kendo Club, whatever she actually is. You've got Ray acting as the damsel. You've got the genius girl, and you can take their stock character types and mix them up however you want, and you'd still end up with a good show. But I don't think it would be quite as good, because the splash personality they throw into these characters is really well done. Their interactions between each other are all really well done. And it's not really a harem show, which I've heard someone say before, but there's elements thereof. I think there's enough good dynamics in there that really it comes down to a love triangle, maybe a failed love square. Genius Girl kind of had some interest in Kurosawa at some point, but she kind of pairs off with Koda at some point, and that eliminates that. But obviously, there's still kind of a mixed bag going on between Psycho, Ray, and Kurosawa. Character development gets an 80. Storyline. Now, a lot love triangle stuff you could put into the storyline, but I think that's more of the characters developing and becoming new people as the storyline progresses independently. When the storyline is just zombie apocalypse and they're trying to survive, there's not a whole lot to go on other than just it's their reactions. Now, they do come up with a battle plan. They want to save as many people using the bus as they can while they go and check in on all their families, because their families would still be at home. I don't know. It's a weak point plot, but it gives you objectives and it gives you chapters as you try to make that happen. Storyline gets a 70. Compulsion. Regardless of somewhat of a weak story and arguments against the characters being valuable, it's zombies and boobs and guns and action, and one of those things that I just said should get your attention pretty heavily. You give this a try, you're going to like something about it, even if afterwards you go, well, that was just this. I almost guarantee you, if you can watch the whole thing and get through it, it's going to stick in your brain a little bit, and you're going to want to come back and watch it later. Maybe not the same month, but maybe 6 months from now, you're going to be like, you know what was good? High School of the Dead. And you're not going to be able to put your finger on it because academically, it has some very poor structures, but I got to tell you, it's enjoyable if nothing else. Compulsion gets a 95. Now, if you total everything up, you get an average of 85. For my rep review, I gotta say this is one I would recommend to anybody who is thinking about anime or likes zombies, because this is a case where simple is great. You take some stock characters, add beautiful personality to it, zombies, and go have a good time. So there is a little bit of adult content, so parents pay attention to what your kids are watching, but I'd recommend this for all. Sit down as a family, have a good time, and get your anime on. I think that's all I got for you today. Watch out, you walk out right this. Have a nice day.